So what if I told you that 90% of the knowledge that you need to scale your creative agency from 6 to 7 and even 8 figures is available on Amazon for just about $180? Well, in this video, I'm going to share with you which books they are and how I have used them and applied them to well over 100 creative agencies. I'm sure that we've all experienced the pushy salesman. It's the person that won't take no for an answer, and ultimately their product is the best thing since sliced bread, when we know that it isn't. In fact, we never wanted it, and they're still trying to tell us why we need it. And unfortunately, this is the thing I see happen so often with creative agencies. So the book that I want to suggest here is The Win Without Pitching Manifesto by Blair Enns. The key component around this is how to actually go about no longer needing to actually pitch and have meaningful conversations with your prospective future client, allowing for them to actually feel comforted in working with you. And so ultimately what it's going to allow for you to do is learn how to really offer the solutions that you know how to do incredibly well, that's able to help your clients accomplish their goals. And ultimately, you'll be able to win them over with your knowledge, your experience, your talents, and never having the need to pitch them in the first place. So one of the number one flaws that I see in entrepreneurs and creative agency owners is that we think too short term. We're thinking tomorrow, next week, next month, I've got to do all of these huge, insurmountable, what sometimes feels like insurmountable things in such a short period of time. You want to make lots of improvement, and I'm not going to begrudge you for that piece. And here's the thing I want you to think about, is that if we wanted to be an Olympian, in order to be that Olympian, you have to practice, you have to train for weeks, months, years, decades to make slight incremental improvements to be a world-class athlete. And that's what you're looking to do with your business. You're looking to actually be world-class. And so in order for you to be able to do so, you need to train, practice, learn in incremental improvements. And that's what this next book, Atomic Habits by James Clear, talks about, essentially that 1% principle, how you can actually go about being just 1% better. If you are able to be 1% better than you were yourself last week, last month, last year, you're able to actually be dramatically better, to be truly world class. The distinction between a collegiate athlete and an Olympian or a professional athlete is just 1 or 2%, and it makes a substantial difference. And growth does not happen overnight. And here's what I want you to think about here. You first have to walk before you can run. And if you were not a runner and you just started to walk for the first time and you were to try to run, your legs are not strong enough. And what will happen? You will fall and likely smash your head against the floor. And that's what I don't want for you and for your agency. Understand that you need to make those improvements, get the strength that allows for you to continue to amass a tremendous amount of growth. And that mentality is going to take you to absolutely new heights. So for the vast majority of creative agencies, profitability is a really big problem. And you've grown to this new height, you've reached 7 figures or even 8 figures, and unfortunately, your profit just isn't there. And for a lot of agency owners, they get to the goal that they want to have grown to from a revenue perspective, but they actually are not making the profit that they need to. And in fact, for a lot of them, they're making the exact same amount of profit that they were when they are a freelancer. And so the book I want to recommend here is called Profit First by Mike Michalowicz. I would imagine the vast majority of you watching this video right now don't revel in reading a financial statement. It's not something that you enjoy, but it is an important factor to allow for you to be successful. So what this book goes through is allowing for you to be really on top of your financial management, but in a very simple and easy way. Is actually going through and having separate bank accounts for different purposes. One of them is for profit, that allows for that money to stay untouched. And if you're familiar with the idea of Parkinson's law, and if you're not, do me a favor and go check it out. Parkinson's law is that human beings will utilize all the available resources that we have available to us, which is what a lot of business owners do. Because we have the money available, we will spend it, we'll hire, we will invest somewhere else, and ultimately not have the constraints that allow for us to make the appropriate decisions. So it is really a great way of making sure that you're actually earning the profit that you deserve and that you want to. So now you know how to sell effectively, form winning habits, and then be able to turn a profit. So now I want to talk about one of the other things that happens is that you end up having clients coming in as fast as they're actually going out the back door. And so the book that I want to recommend here is Never Lose a Customer Again by Joey Coleman. The thing that's really important is how you can actually go about turning every single client or customer that comes through the door into a raving fan. Someone that actually really feels seen, heard, acknowledged, and has an amazing experience at your agency. And what he does is he breaks down exactly step by step on how to go to think about the ideal client journey to allow for them to really have their emotional experience, the highs, the lows, the wants, the needs, all considered, and actually become that raving fan, so that what they want to do is actually go and tell the world that they got an incredible amount of value from your agency. And this is an incredible learning lesson and one of the number one things the vast majority of agencies miss. However, there's another big mistake that I typically see agency owners making at this stage. So once you've reached that $500,000 mark of revenue a year, you're likely going to be too involved in the day-to-day operations, and it's incredibly stressful. And so here's the thing that a book I want to suggest to you here is Buy Back Your Time by Dan Martell. So we've all been fed this lie that in order for us to have success, we have to sacrifice ourselves. We have to work 7 days a week. We have to burn the midnight oil. We have to not show up to family engagements or, go out to dinner with friends. That's the thing that we have to sacrifice in order to have the success we want. And so what this book actually does is it has you reevaluate what is truly necessary. Understand really tactically how to go about removing yourself from the things that you should not be doing so that you can spend more time with your friends and your family. However, no matter how well you manage your time, once your agency gets to over $1 million a year in revenue, you're going to need another solution. So at this point in our career, we've been able to accomplish an incredible amount, but you can't actually do it all by yourself, even though sometimes we want to tell ourselves that we can. What is really important here is finding an EA that allows for us to be successful. Unfortunately, the vast majority of executive assistants relationships end up failing. But why? Because we don't actually build a meaningful relationship. So here's the book that I want you to read, The CEO's Secret Weapon by Jan Jones. What we need to be able to establish is a good, trusting relationship with our executive assistants. They're actually not an administrative lackey. They're actually a trusted business partner, someone that works alongside you to have an incredible amount of success in your business, because they actually are there understanding your wants, your desires, your needs, exactly the decisions that you would be making in that moment so you don't have to make them. As I joke, I only have 2 good decisions in me a day. If I have to make them all, I'm going to run out. And my EA is able to shine by making choices that benefit me as well as the business. And they can be the same for you if you're able to actually build a meaningful relationship with your EA. So this book is going to help you understand how to build that relationship, what kind of things they can be doing, exactly how that relationship should work, how you can actually recruit this person, how you can evaluate them, and how you can actually set them up for success. As you continue to push beyond this $1 million threshold, there are 2 other books that are really going to be key for you. Do me a favor. I want you to think back to your very first sales conversation. You were probably thinking inside of your head at that moment of, please say yes, please say yes, please say yes. At least if you're anything like me, I was that nerd, pocket protecting, wearing accountant, so I was not that great salesperson. So the book I want to recommend here is Jim Camp's book, Start With No. What he does in the book is he actually rejects the idea that you are even looking for a yes in a sales conversation, that actually what you're looking for is a no. And then when you're looking for a yes, it creates all of the wrong decision making for you that creates actually a less viable situation in a sales conversation. So if you start the conversation with a no, it ends up releasing the pressure from both parties. So you don't end up creating this kind of tiger in a corner situation where their claws are about to come out because they're scared. If you're interested in this topic, do me a favor, check out this video here where I dive even deeper into this game changer. So finally, if you're looking to become a true master of the agency-client relationship, there's one more layer that I want to share with you. All right, so if you've read now books 1 through 7, you're likely actually doing pretty good in sales. But here's now the question. Does your client prospective buyer even need a salesperson in the first place? And so that's what this book is actually going to do, is turn that on its head. The book is called The Challenger Sale by Matthew Dixon and Brent Adamson. What is talked about in this book is that be an advisor to your clients, not a salesperson. You shouldn't actually be a peer. And so right now, a lot of our thinking around sales is that you need to be friendly. You you need to be that really engaging, lovely, empathetic person. But really what's needed is that they actually need to want to look to you for advice, be able to come to you with their challenges. And so what you actually need to be doing is stop saying yes to your clients just for the sake of saying yes. You should actually be challenging their thinking, providing them with advice, having them actually push their limits. Your clients and prospective buyers should be able to trust your opinions, that you hold the keys to their future success. If you really aren't afraid to lose the sale, guess what? You're almost always going to end up winning it.